This video tutorial is an introduction to the Express Prognostic Effectiveness Report. The Prognostic Effectiveness Report provides both summary and detailed information about the prognostics that have been defined for a system modeled in Express. Before the Prognostic Effectiveness Report can be generated, the analyst must first have added prognostic definitions to their Express model and then generated a prognostic sequence within an Express diagnostic study, using only those prognoses that they wish to evaluate in the report. The steps in this process are described in detail in the video on system prognostic analysis in the Prognostics in Express series. Once prognostics have been calculated, the report can be invoked by selecting Prognostic Effectiveness from the Prognostic Reports section of the main Reports menu in a diagnostic study. This submenu, incidentally, only appears for designs that contain prognostic definitions. When the Prognostic Effectiveness Report is invoked, a Report Options dialog appears. This dialog, which is explained in detail in other videos in this series, allows the analyst to establish the basis for the prognostics, specify performance requirements for comparison, enable and disable different sections of the report, and select the format of the report. Let's begin by running this report using the default settings. Okay, notice that the report is divided up into three sections. The summary section provides statistics describing for the entire prognostic solution under analysis the expected horizon, accuracy, coverage, and percentage of failures prognosed. The table in the prognostic performance statistics section breaks down these same four metrics separately by horizon. In this example, we can see that 25.16% of this system's failures can be prognosed at least 72 hours prior to failure, with 87.36% accuracy. Or, taking both failure rate and prognostic accuracy into consideration, that a little under 22% of the expected failures will be prognosed at least 72 hours prior to failure. Finally, in the Prognostic Details section of the report is a list of all prognoses under analysis. For each possible prognosis, this section includes, along with the horizon, accuracy, and probability of prognosis, the repair time associated with that prognosis. All of the statistics that appear in this run of the report are explained in detail in the video on default statistics that's included in this series. Okay, let's close this and then regenerate the report, this time specifying a goal or requirement that must be met by the prognostics. Here in the Performance Requirements section of the Report Options dialog, we'll specify a minimum prognostic horizon of 120 hours. In other words, we're going to analyze how well the current prognostic approach can identify impending malfunctions 120 or more hours prior to failure. And when we run the report, we can see that there are a few differences. First of all, at the bottom of the report, the prognosis details only list prognoses whose specified horizon is 120 hours or greater. Likewise, the prognostic performance statistics list data only for horizons that are greater than or equal to 120 hours. In the summary section, however, the statistics still describe the overall prognostic capability, regardless of whether or not a requirement has been specified. In other words, the expected horizon, accuracy, coverage, and failures prognosed are all the same as in the previous run of the report. The only exception to this is the prognostic effectiveness metric, which was not included in the previous run. Notice that this metric is actually prognostic effectiveness sub H, which stands for prognostic effectiveness with respect to horizon. This statistic is included by default when a required horizon is specified on the report's option dialog. A similar metric, prognostic effectiveness with respect to accuracy, or prognostic effectiveness sub A, is included by default when a required accuracy is specified on the options dialog. Similar to the isolation effectiveness metric in the Express fault isolation report, the prognostic effectiveness metrics indicate how well the current capability satisfies a given requirement, in this case a prognostic horizon of 120 hours. Prognostic effectiveness calculations are explained in detail in another video in this series. Well, that's the basics of the Prognostic Effectiveness Report. There are numerous ways in which the report can be used to evaluate specific requirements. For example, if prognostics are calculated using only measurements of a particular type, and the scope of the analysis is constrained to only a subset of the design, then the numbers in the Prognostic Effectiveness Report will reflect how well prognoses of the specified type can prognose failures of the specified type. This is demonstrated in the video in this series that's titled Controlling Category and Scope. There is also a video in this series that discusses the concept of net horizons and demonstrates how the Prognostic Effectiveness Report can be used to evaluate whether failures that might occur in a mission of a specified length can be prognosed early enough that corrective action can be performed before the system begins the mission. This concludes this video introduction to the Prognostic Effectiveness Report in Express.